why do you think that some of them wait to see what happens or don't take proactive action? Is it that they're too busy doing other things, or is it too hard a problem that they're not sure where to start? What's your gut feel?
Well, I think, even with retailers up to, 100, 150 stores, often they don't have really strong, financial, and analytics to, so, your CFO is typically a guy who does all the accounts, but really the action now is in, have I got too many stores? It's really on the strategy side. What is my optimum structure to make a profit moving forward? So I think that, that's one of the key elements, and the CEOs are kind of caught in that spotlight of not knowing what to do. So, really this session's about what can they do at this stage of the cycle with the 28th of March looming. What do you think, Louisa?
That's insightful just there, saying, yeah, I'd agree with you where sometimes we look at large companies, and a little bit broader than retail in this case, because I work across a lot of industries, including retail. Just because a company's large doesn't mean it's a well-oiled machine. Sometimes things are held together by spreadsheets and by somebody knowing things in their head, which we all know from business management theory is not how a company is meant to run. It's meant to be systemized and organized and data-driven and all these sorts of things. But so many times in practice, life is busy, work is busy, and you just have to keep going, and these things don't get addressed. So now is, I think, a very important period for a lot of retailers, whether they're on JobKeeper or not, because to pick up on something you said there, if they're 25% down in their sales, they won't be eligible for JobKeeper anymore. But 25% is still more than most retailers' profit margins are, and for many businesses, in fact. So just because you're not eligible for JobKeeper anymore doesn't mean you're doing great. So yes, that brings us to what I think you touched on before as well. Do they need a restructure? How do they know if they need a restructure? I think some of the important criteria is if and when JobKeeper ends, they need to do a real hard look at what the situation is going to be for them. So that's going to involve some budgeting. It's going to involve some cash flow forecasting, which their finance team or whoever sits under the CFO should be looking after. And working out the really confronting question of if they can survive. And I hope the answer is yes. But is it going to be yes with a fair bit of pain? Yes, if we change some things? Yes, but yes, what goes with that yes? Because that's something that needs to be in the process of being implemented. Yes, if we change our business model. Yes, if we do more digitization so that we have lower overheads for store costs. All these sorts of things need to be planned out because they take time to do. Other things to be thinking about is their financing facilities. If they have a bank facility or non-bank lenders in there, what's that structure look like? Can it be improved? Can it be optimized? Can they get better terms? Interest rates are going down. Are they on a 5-year-old, bank facility with higher interest rates that didn't adjust downwards? And can they do better? Other things to be looking at are which parts of the business are performing well, which parts are not. Because it's very rare, unless they only do one thing in one way, it's very rare that they all perform equally. Please chime in.
Just on that point, I mean, one of the key elements that we've seen, and is really the landlord retailer relationship, and what we've been seeing out there is a lack of flexibility by the landlords to right-size retailers' businesses. So,
Right.
and I think that one of the key elements is that what we're seeing out there at the moment is a lot of those retailers need to reduce their store fleets. So our benchmark is that there are about 40 A-listed retail shopping malls in Australia and precincts. And really, as a retailer, I would start with those 40. Now, depending on your demographic, the 40 aren't going to be the same. So, you could, some upmarket retailers are going to be more focused on the city and Bondi, whereas people focusing on a lower price point, maybe out of Penrith and things like that. Melbourne would be the same. So what we're seeing is those 40 are really key to the starting point. And I think that one of the things I've seen lately is that I've done for some private investors some due diligence on some of these retailers that have got into trouble, often with 100 to 150 stores. And we're seeing about, even before COVID, we're seeing about half of those stores profitable and half of them barely worth keeping. And so while overall,
that's a huge proportion.
Exactly. And so, but with no ability to downsize their fleet quick enough to restructure their business.